I don't know what show it was, but we kind of talked about how like most video game adaptations have been just like total shit. Aside from Super Mario Brothers, which is of course a classic and a fantastic film. But I was wondering, like, if you guys were kind of given the reins, like the corporate reins of like, you decide what video game is going to be adapted. What director you would put in charge? Maybe if you want to go as far as naming a lead or something, and just like what combination would you think would have a good chance of actually being a great video game adaptation? So I was curious, what did you guys come up with?
I got a God of War.
Okay.
And the director would be Zack Snyder. Because he's done like, didn't he do like?
He did 300.
300, yeah. So he's done kind of like those kind of movies, and I would have The Rock be the main character.
The Rock.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. I could see that.
Maybe they would like voiceover.
I usually don't think of him as like he doesn't have like that mean aura. I guess like he's always seems like charming even when he's like being a tough guy.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know, like he's got the body for it.
He
Maybe
definitely has the body for it, the physique for it.
Yeah.
I think he could be like dubbed over by the actual guy who does the voice of Kratos.
I wouldn't do that.
Dubbing is
dubbing. Yeah, that would be bad. I wouldn't dub it.
Okay.
He's also like too well known. It'd be like it'd be weird.
Yeah. So yeah, The Rock.
The Rock.
Mm-hmm. It is hard. Like when you got a role that needs a guy that's really jacked up, but also well, I guess Kratos doesn't need a huge amount of range. He's just kind of a angry guy,
right?
But Zack Snyder's one of those guys that like I don't know. Like I do like some of his movies, like in our top 10 of the 2010s. I said I really love Man of Steel, but even like the movies I really like, he always makes like one or two choices where I'm like, ooh, I wish he didn't do that. But yeah, I would definitely. I'm actually surprised they haven't done some sort of God of War adaptation yet, because God of War's been around since like I think 2005, the first game came out. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done anything already, but I bet eventually they will. It's a really huge property and it lends itself well.
Yeah, he definitely could.
So what do you think? So
I've got a few ideas. I'm going to start at the bottom.
Okay.
Earthworm Jim Carrey.
So is this animated or?
Possibly. I'm thinking action comedy.
Man, I did love Earthworm Jim back in the day.
It was a fun game.
I remember, like, we played the hell out of that. Like, we would come home every day from school and get a little bit further, and
that's one of those old school frustrating games.
Yeah, but fun. And they had that animated series too at that time.
Oh yeah, I think that sucked.
It probably did.
All I remember is that little puppy who hated haggis.
Yeah, that's the part I remember too. Actually,
there was a brilliant part in one of those games where like the bad guy's just got like a bag of puppies and he's throwing them in the air and you have to run and catch them. And if you don't, they just like pop on the ground like water balloons. You feel so bad like killing all these puppies every time you miss one. What a great dynamic.
So that one's going to star Jim Carrey?
Yeah, I figure you need somebody with a little bit of energy and a little bit of goofiness. I don't know who.
Actually, it might be funny if it's live action and they just put him in a Earthworm Jim suit.
Yeah. You get a ton of CGI.
And I mean, he was in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, so he's not, he probably signed up for that.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. He's starting to come out again. Like, he took a pretty big respite there, but.
So what else you got?
Okay, number 2, Pokemon. Tarantino. Comedy duo. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Ash Ketchum. Danny DeVito as Pikachu.
I mean, I know virtually nothing about Pokemon, but I'll watch this.
I would watch this, yeah.
I know they made that Detective Pikachu movie.
Yeah.
We got to catch them all. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
And you know what, Tarantino, like, they're getting shot up, they're bleeding all over.
They're saying the N-word.
I was wondering how to work in some Jackson in there. Yeah.
Pika, Pika, what did you say?
Okay. And finally, the big one, the serious one. Abe's Oddworld. Guillermo del Toro. Maybe like a Steve Buscemi.
Never heard of Abe's Oddworld.
So it's like these weird creatures, and they're all like slaves. And so like you're this character, and you're kind of like you're freeing them as you go, but I think you're trying to build like a resistance. And they're all in this like gulag, and like they just get killed, and they're just like just horrible shit to them. So it's a pretty serious setting.
You know, I never really played that game, but I watched you play it back in the day, and it looked interesting, but it also looked like it was kind of hard.
It was hard. I never made it very far. Yeah.
I seen a trailer where they're actually making a new one of those for PS5, and it definitely looks interesting.
I know there were multiple ones made, and I think I only played the first one, but no, it was just interesting.
I like the Del Toro call though, because he always likes monsters and creatures in his movies, and he's really good at that kind of stuff. So I think he'd be a good choice for something like that.
He makes a lot of good stylistic choices, and he has a good taste for kind of like fairy tales and stuff like that, but also like darker crap.
All right, so for mine, I went with Mass Effect. Have you guys ever played those games?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I really like kind of the world of Mass Effect, because, like, basically the premise is, like, I don't remember the year, like, maybe 100 years from now, like, there's some sort of party that goes to Mars, and they find, like, these relics that were put there from an alien race, and they also find this new element that they call Element Zero. And basically, when you run a current through the element, and I don't remember, like, positive current does something, negative does the other, but basically it creates this field, and anything in the field, it changes its mass. And so, like, you can use it to reduce the mass of something to zero, which then allows for faster than light travel.
Okay.
So that's how they kind of explain how, and I like that, because in Star Wars and Star Trek, they just kind of go, hit the warp. I don't know if they ever actually go into detail of how it works. So I just like that there's actually a reason for the way things travel, faster than light. And then the actual Mass Effect game takes place, I don't know, thousands of years probably after that first encounter. And you got these, the human race kind of, this party with Commander Shepard, and they're, they have these adventures where they're, you kind of have a crew on your ship, and you're going to these different places, and, you meet aliens and stuff. And it kind of does have like a Star Trek-y vibe to it, I guess. As far as directors, I have two possibilities. One, the Russo brothers, who directed like the big Avengers movies, because the thing is, this would be like a big kind of sprawling movie with a lot of characters, and I think those guys are good. You look at those Avengers movies, and they have a good balance to them. Like, all the characters seem to get their due, and they're really good with action, and so I think just how they're good at balancing and still making you actually care about the character, so the action means something. Now, the other possibility I would go with that I think can do that same thing, and people might scoff at this because of some of their more recent work, but the Wachowskis. Because, like, I'm a really big fan of the whole Matrix trilogy. I know a lot of people only like the first one. I like all three. And, like, even something like Cloud Atlas, which has faults, but I really like. And once again, it's like this big sprawling story, all these characters, but they make you care about it, and I think they're really good at that as well. So I would either go with the Russo brothers or the Wachowskis, and for directing Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I never played that game, so.
I mean, they're good games. I mean, but they are a time sink, because each one of them, probably. I know I put like 75 hours into the second one, which is the one I like the most. But they're probably all like, depending on how you get into it, and like 50, at least 50-hour games probably. So
50 to 70s in my wheelhouse. I
yeah,
don't
they're
like
probably
the ones that go a lot longer than that.
they're probably all kind of in that range.
I've been wanting to bite into another Far Cry. I've been craving just shooting some bad guys, sniping some guys.
Did you ever play the 5th one? The one that's based in Montana?
No, that'd probably be the one I would get because there's another one coming out in December.
Yeah.
The PS5, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's probably both actually.
It might be. I don't know.